Let's act like we're frozen. Except they probably heard me say, "Let's act like we're frozen." Hello, everybody. Let's say hello to people while we're hanging out here. Hello, cruising on the high seas. Kevin Counts, my mom, that dog, and yeah, that's it. I think.
Is that Sully?
No, that's Finley.
No? Tonight we will have special guests, and it's not just the two humans that you see sitting there. We're going to have lots of dog interactions.
No.
Aw.
Wow.
Look at my mom getting in on the background thing. That's what I just told Kimbra. I'm like, look, my mom is now commenting on the.
I mean, she knows good stuff when she sees it.
Okay. Oh, look at that. We got the Wonders from Down Unders on here.
Kevin says Marino.
That's right. He's got the jersey.
He's sleeping in the corner right now.
He's got the jersey. I had to do like a time at the Penguin thing today. Like that sounds like I was doing prison time. Like I had to stand by the Penguins for 30 minutes and like make sure people don't like beat on the glass or anything. And somebody came up and they went waddle 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 waddle.
Oh, nice.
And that was like a little Dolphins thing there. But hey, Meg is here. Meg,
hello,
we watched your puppet video, and you know anything with Jim Henson makes me cry happy tears. So that was awesome. I would love to see that exhibit. Is that like a permanent thing or is that a temporary thing that you saw? For everybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, go check out Meg's YouTube channel. Meg, put a link up in there for your YouTube channel because she's been releasing videos, and the one she released today was she went to like I think it's a puppet museum in generally, but it's permanent. It's permanent. Oh, that's cool. So now there are just building reasons to go to do a little Atlanta visit.
I'm in. You don't have to convince me.
Is it in Atlanta or is it in the outskirts of Atlanta? I mean, if it's on the way, that's fine too. So
before we keep going, I do want to mention that Sean mentioned how great the background is. And you know what, Sean, you're right. Thank you.
Sean is just sucking up to you though.
It's working.
Because, you know, he knows you're going to be on the cruise with him in October.
I mean, like you never suck up to anything.
No.
Not to me.
No. Mallory and Andrew, you look lovely tonight.
Oh, thanks.
Midtown.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that's Atlanta. But you know what? It's 8:29.
Actually, it's 8:30.
It's 8:30. So we're gonna boot you guys into the green room for just a minute, and then we'll start the podcast.
Yeah,
let's do that.
Come with me, we're going on a Fintastic Cruise. Pick your destination with news, tips, and reviews. But here is an item you might not have thought of. All of the things under the water. Nature surrounds us with elegant features. You can't go on a cruise and not see the creatures. So let's make some magic, let's get ecstatic. Instantly classic, maybe romantic. The wildlife around you, cinematic on your Fintastic Cruise.
Bon Beanie and thank you for joining us on another episode of Fintastic Cruising. I am Matt.
And I'm Kimbra.
And hopefully you guys didn't see what I just saw because our intro video to me just looked like a ship flashing back and forth. I don't know if that is what you guys saw, but that's what it looked like on my screen. On Kimbra's screen, which is like we're running this from, it played as per normal, but that was weird.
Yeah, it was.
That was very weird. Thank you, StreamYard. Thank you for that. So yeah, welcome to tonight's episode of the podcast. We do have our very good friends Mallory and Andrew on tonight to talk about Alaska. But before we get into that, I feel like we should cover a couple things.
What are we covering? Are you cold? Do you need a blanket?
No. The normal stuff. For a start.
Oh, like you want to talk about some things.
There you go.
Okay. Well, what if we talk about this thing here?
A group cruise?
A group cruise.
A cruise with a group?
A group of people.
And it's going to leave from Tampa on March 12th and return to Tampa on March 19th in 2023.
Where's it leaving from, Matt?
I said from Tampa.
Where's it leaving on?
That would be the Carnival Pride, Kimber. And hey, speaking of Pride, let's say Happy Pride Month.
That's right, because it's June, the beginning of June.
Yes. So
which means we got it just in time.
That's right. So let's celebrate Pride Month all month long, and we can celebrate Pride Month on our cruise too, even though it's in March. That's what I say. Double Pride Month. We'll be very proud of that. And that cruise is going to the Cayman Islands. It's going to Roatan. It's going to Belize, and it's going to Cozumel, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
How can that be booked?
It can be booked through fintastictravel@gmail.com. That's fintastictravel@gmail.com.
Thanks, Matt.
And one more little public service announcement. Okay. This is kind of just something I feel like I have to say. It has nothing to do with cruising.
I have no idea what this is.
I'm angry, Kimbra.
What did I do this time?
It wasn't you this time. So that's no, it wasn't you. No, I feel like I have to talk about alligators for a second.
Oh yeah, I'm angry
I'm very distraught. We had one of the very rare alligator attack and fatalities happen right across the bay from us in Largo this week, and I feel for the guy. He was unfortunately he was a homeless man, but this is what happened. He went to this park where Frisbee golf is a common thing. And he would commonly go out into the water and retrieve Frisbee golf frisbees, which are quite pricey for a disc of plastic. And he would offer the services for a fee, which he was told by park officials, police officers, and maybe other people not to do because it's loaded with alligators and then there are signs. And he did it anyway, and he did it at night, and he got attacked and killed by an alligator, which is very sad. But the response was that trappers went out, captured 2 random alligators from the park, killed them, did necropsies on them. They were not the alligator that attacked him. So 2 alligators just died because this guy did something extraordinarily irresponsible. And I feel for the guy, I do. But at the same time, I feel like that's somebody carelessly strolling in front of a train and then you shoot the conductor. I just don't. It just makes me angry. Be responsible, people. Okay. This was not the alligator's fault. Not even close. Anyway, that's enough of that. I just had to get that out. If you're in Florida, be respectful of these animals. Don't feed them. Stay a safe distance from them. And do not go in the water with them, especially at night, because that's just stupid. So
also, it's mating season right now.
It is mating season right now. Bow, chicka, bow, bow.
I mean, that's not really where I was going with that, but yeah.
Alligators are more like...
I mean, that's
my bellow sound.
You have your baby alligator sound too? There was the first day. So at the aquarium, this is the first week of our summer camp. And I helped with check-in on our first day, which was Tuesday. And there was one of our campers who's been there a couple years now. And she came up to the table and said, I've been practicing my baby alligator sound. And it sounded pretty darn good.
Pretty good. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That is pretty awesome. On the flip side, I got to do my second Make-A-Wish meet and greet with a kid and their family with an alligator that I've done in the last couple months. And that was really cool because the family was from South Carolina and they're all big herp people, which is herpetology reptile. So I didn't know if they even care about the alligator. Like, I don't know. And then these people were like, want to talk my ear off and ask questions. And it was awesome. So that was cool. Yeah. That was fun. All right. Anything else we need to cover before we,
No, I think we should bring on the people that everyone's here to actually hear.
I agree. Let's bring them on. Mallory and Andrew, all the way from freezing cold Wisconsin.
Hey.
Not cold right now, though, right?
No,
It was like 76 today, so it's nice.
76. That's cold. That's like our apartment.
It's perfect.
Well, I don't know.
No,
out, so that's fun.
It's 73 here.
it's warmer in Wisconsin. Well, they said it was 76 today. It might not be right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It was like 153 here today.
Okay.
It was hot. It wasn't really 153, but it was hot. Like we tried to go out and walk at lunch, and I was like, we went out and I was like, this is not a thing that's going to happen today because I don't really want to die. So we did walk a little bit. We walked to the Publix and bought like something to drink.
Yeah.
To replenish all the sweat that we lost on the way to the very short walk to the grocery store. By the way, if you're cruising out of Tampa, there is a Publix Greenwise within easy walking distance that is going to give you cheaper food than the little Sparkman Wharf restaurants. And
somewhat, depending on what you get.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's still cheaper than the Sparkman Wharf because those things are like crazy expensive.
Except BurgerFi.
BurgerFi's okay. Anyway, look, why are we talking about this? We've got Mallory and Andrew here to talk about Alaska. You guys have, first of all, been to Alaska twice, we found out.
Yep.
Yes.
And this most recent time was on a cruise. So we're going to focus on that. But at the same time, I just want the people out there to know that you guys have done Alaska by land and once by sea. So we're going to see and maybe how those compare and contrast. So if things come up that you think are relevant differences, then we can talk about that a little bit. Yeah. But to start off with, what ship did you sail on and what port did you sail out of?
We sailed on the Carnival Splendor out of Seattle. So.
Okay.
Right.
Now you guys are halfway from me to Seattle. You're like already halfway there, right? How did you fly into Seattle, I'm assuming?
Yep, it's about is it 4 hours or so?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, it's not too bad. So the Carnival Splendor out of Seattle. Let's start with the port. What is the Seattle port like?
It wasn't a great experience for us because we were the first Carnival ship out of there, and they definitely had some difficulties. So we had
just kind of like getting everything moving again and all.
Yeah. The longest embarkation wait time for sure.
Yeah.
But the port itself is pretty. You're surrounded by fishing boats.
Yeah.
So it's cool. And we saw bald eagles right from getting on the ship. So
yep.
That's pretty cool. So it's not like a super industrial port, but it's like a fishing thing. That would be kind of neat to see. And you mentioned this was the first Carnival ship sailing out of Seattle. Is that what you're saying? It was the first. I know it was a Splendor's first cruise since the pandemic and the last Carnival ship to start sailing, right?
Yes.
It's the first one this year. There might have been some last year, probably.
Okay.
Alaska cruises out of Seattle for sure.
Okay. All right. So so that's kind of exciting because it was so Carnival's got its whole fleet going now. So that's cool. You to be kind of a part of the end of that. And Carnival Splendor is how big of a ship is that? How would you compare it to like other Carnival ships that you guys have been on?
Conquest class for sure.
Very similar to that.
Yes.
Okay. So kind of a mid-sized ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's pretty cool. And what sort of stateroom did you guys choose for this cruise?
So we did an ocean view stateroom because the balcony was quite a bit more, and we got a really interesting room because it had two windows. So it kind of had an interesting. We had a little hallway that went to it, and then it was kind of wide. So.
And the bathroom was on the other side, and it took me a long time. Like I was always going to the right, to go to the door to go to the bathroom, but it was on the other side. So
that is weird. Was it in a weird place on the ship that it had that?
The back of the ship. I mean, not aft facing. It was side facing, but it was the second to last before the aft facing.
Okay.
So it was like an L-shaped room.
Now the windows, because I know Alaska is one that's, and you already mentioned this, Tessa. We'll talk about it. It's a very scenic cruise. Were the windows in your cabin like normal? Like were they the rectangular windows? Were they portholes? Like what? How big were they? Were they clean? That kind of thing. What was your view like?
They're rectangular. They're the normal, probably 3.5 feet by 3.5 feet or whatever they are.
Divided into.
Yep.
Okay.
They weren't perfectly clean, but at the same time, you still got awesome views out of them. So.
And we were on the second floor, so you got to expect ocean salt spray and everything to.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
Sure. It was enough that you could look out and see the beautiful view and like decide we're going to go up on deck or something like that to check it out.
Yep. And because our cruise, we went in May, so it was very early still. It was still really cold. So it's not the best time to chill out on the balcony, especially if the ship is moving. So
that's a good cruise tip for cruising to Alaska if you're going in the earlier part or perhaps the later part of the season, maybe not doing the outdoors kind of thing. How long was this cruise?
8 days.
8 days. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Do you have any questions? You're very quiet over there.
I'm good. Sorry. I took some allergy medicine and it's like wiped me out a little bit. But I do want to say JT has said hello from the Mardi Gras, who was our guest last week.
Well, hello JT from the Mardi Gras. And look, JT, make sure to look for that special Woodford Reserve bourbon on the Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Because it's good. You'll like it. Trust me. So, okay. So it's an 8-day cruise left out of Seattle. How many port stops did you guys have?
4. Was it 5?
Oh, well, I guess have named
Skagway. And was last.
Yep.
Juneau.
Yep.
Icy Strait Point and Victoria.
So it was 5, but we only got off at 4.
Okay. 5. Okay. 5 ports, 8. So you had, so then you, if my math is correct, which is always questionable, you had 3 sea days?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Cool.
3
Good job, Matt.
sea day brunches.
Yeah.
What?
3 sea day brunches.
Oh, very nice.
So on our 12 days that we had 4 sea days, they only did 2 sea day brunches.
Uh-huh.
So it
But that was like a Caribbean kind of thing, right?
yeah. A journey cruise.
I feel like Alaska cruises is sort of, they're targeting a different demographic, although longer cruises normally would be as well. So maybe the brunch thing is better. But that's pretty awesome. Now, you guys mentioned this because we talked to you briefly earlier in the week, and you guys mentioned that one of the things that sets Alaska cruising apart from like a Caribbean cruise, for example, is that in a Caribbean cruise, you get a beautiful view of the ocean, but it's pretty much the generic ocean. You can't see much else until you get to a port. And then depending on which port you're at, it could be very, very scenic or less scenic, but usually a little bit scenic. On an Alaska cruise, it's basically scenic the whole time, right? So even a sea day is almost like not being in port, but but you're still getting that unique experience of Alaska. Does that sound accurate?
Except for the first and kind of last sea day, that's true. Because the first and last one, you're kind of out between Alaska and Canada. You're not between the passageways, and then you see the ocean. But but for most of the cruise, it's like you go off the port. It's like, oh, this is beautiful until all night. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What was the night view like when you got up into the Alaska area? Like, was it just so dark you couldn't see the land, or was it lit up a little bit? How did that look?
So counterintuitively, in the summer, or basically after the equinox, when you go up north, the light actually gets longer up the further north you go. So when you're at the North Pole in the middle of summer, there's no nightfall at all. So the days are longer at the time we were up there. And,
so is that what? So you guys are kind of early, but was it still very long days then, like long daylight periods then?
It was definitely over. Well, yeah, anything's over 12 hours at that point. It wasn't So it stayed light until probably 10, 11 at night.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. But when we were actually further north in Anchorage, when we did the RV tour of it, it was, you wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning and it's still like dusk out. So,
Oh, wow.
Huh.
yeah.
Did that mess with your sleep patterns at all? Or were you able to just put the lights out curtains or whatever they're called?
Yep. On both trips, we had blackout curtains. So,
Blackout curtains, that's what they're.
yeah. Yeah, it wasn't an issue on either trip.
Okay. Okay. And you said it was cold. What do you mean by that? Like, define cold for somebody that lives in Wisconsin to say it was cold. That makes me a little concerned. So, what was the temperature?
So on the way up there, it was the worst because it was pretty cloudy, and during the sea days and the further north we were, I mean, it was in the 50s. Would you say?
Yeah.
The 50s.
And the water was real rough the first sea day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
50s isn't terrible though. Like that's tolerable. Like it gets down to 50 in Florida sometimes.
The wind though made it feel weird.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. Then on the way back, it was sunny, so like we were sitting out in the Serenity Lounge in shorts.
Now, is this ship have like a covered pool area or covered area that was good for viewing then, or did you need to kind of be out on deck to get the best views?
No, the midship was awesome. So it's an enclosed midship. So most of the Conquest classes, the rear of the ship is that has a pool that has an enclosure. But the Splendor, it has the mid pool with an enclosure, and then the deck above it has hot tubs and glass, like looking outside.
Yeah, it's like floor ceiling glass.
Yeah.
With windows that crack open, but great views.
Yeah.
Did you spend a lot of time in said hot tubs?
Not in not in the hot tubs, but that area we did.
Yeah. Sit and read.
Yeah,
outside.
it's really relaxing.
Oh, nice. Did they have different things than a Caribbean cruise? Like, I mean, you can get hot chocolate on a Caribbean cruise, but it's not like in your face. Like, did they have different food or drinks than you would normally find in the Caribbean?
The hot chocolate was a hot commodity, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Everyone they were refilling the tops of the machines with the powder quite often.
Was it the same kind though as you get on the other ships?
I would never get a cup of hot cocoa in the Caribbean, so
yeah,
I've never had it on any Carnival ship.
That sounds so good right now.
I've only done it when I've mixed it with coffee and made like a mocha, like a free mocha.
When we were on the
thing.
Rotterdam, they did hot chocolate. When we went into that one of those seminars, and they put like some Kahlua and stuff in it. That was good.
Yeah, little liquor.
Yeah,
hot chocolate. That was pretty awesome. Okay, what about the dining room? Like, did you guys eat in the main dining room?
Every night.
Yes.
Every night. Was the food menu on that kind of the same as what you'd find in a Caribbean cruise, or did they cater it to the Pacific Northwest and stuff like that, or North Atlantic or Pacific? That's the Pacific.
Maybe a couple different things, but I don't know if it's because it was new for.
Yeah, I think too. Like Carnival, they used to always have like the Port Day like special dish, and I have not seen that as much as
like the special appetizer, dish, dessert, and drink.
Yeah, like they haven't had that. I don't think since they restarted that on the cruises that we've been on.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what we're saying? Like with the hard menus that you fold open, and then it has the special port offerings.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, like they usually have like gator nuggets and one of them, and I know what you're talking about. Okay,
but they had. Cool. I was gonna say like the gator nuggets. It was kind of like it's the special fines,
rare
thing.
fines,
right?
Yeah,
that's different than the port.
Yep, and they still have that, but like
okay,
like you go to like Jamaica, they'd have like jerk chicken on the menu. You go to like
right
Antigua or something, they have like a hot pot. Caribbean hot pot or something. So they did. I feel like since the restart, they haven't had that though.
I don't know. I don't remember now that you say that, I don't remember seeing that, but I wasn't really looking for it. So that's interesting. We'll have to look for that.
Well, I'm getting on a ship tomorrow, so I can tell you about it.
There you go. Yes. What ship were you getting on tomorrow?
The Conquest.
The Conquest.
And that was my first cruise ship experience ever.
And you're going to, and how long is that cruise for?
This one is just a 4-day.
Okay. Because you're going to be in Cozumel like just right before we are.
Yes.
So, okay. All right.
Kevin says reindeer sausage is common on Alaska and Norway cruises. Did you have reindeer sausage?
Not on the cruise.
He would have had it if it was offered.
You can get it in port, I know.
Yes.
I've been to Sweden. You can get it in Sweden too, pretty easily.
And then on formal night, it has a glowing property. So this sounds like a pretty amazing cruise. I'm interested in what ports you went to. So you said 5 ports. Which one? You said one of them you didn't get off at. Which one didn't you get off at? Let's start there.
Victoria, Canada, and we got there at after 8.
Like 8:59 until
midnight.
Yeah.
And it was on a Monday night.
Yep.
Oh.
So we're like,
That's an interesting time for port stops. Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder if they just do that because they have to stop at another country, something like that.
Last year, they changed the law, so like
for just last year,
so they didn't have to go to Canada or a different country, but like now it's back again. So
because Canada wasn't. I don't think Canada was allowing cruises at first either. Well, that's interesting. So I get why you'd stay on the ship for that then. So that was kind of like another sea day, really. Then,
and that's we got the sea day brunch on that day. So
okay, gotcha. And then the other ports were all in Alaska itself. It sounds like.
Yep.
So let's instead of going first to last, let's start with your. I don't want to say this to sound in a negative way, but your least favorite. So let's save your favorites for the. I don't know if they're the same for both of you though. So maybe I just.
It's okay. I'll go with whatever you say. I like them all.
Yeah.
I know that I still have more places in Alaska that I want to see from a different cruise.
Yep.
Which one was the least exciting or the least? Like not to say that in like I said in a negative way, but like if you had to rank them, which would be number 4?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we didn't have that long in Ketchikan.
Yeah, I think that Ketchikan would be the.
Okay. So what did you do? Which number was that? Was that port stop number 1, 2, 3? Or what would be 1? It would be 2, 3.
Yep, that's 4.
4. Okay. So what did you do in Ketchikan?
So we basically just walked around town.
Got some coffee.
Yep.
Caught up on some work stuff.
Yep.
Got a couple cool views of eagles flying.
Oh yeah.
Saw some cool totem poles there. We were only there for 4 hours, 5 hours.
Yeah, I think 5 or 6.
So.
Kimber's putting up a picture
We're Ketchikan.
Yep.
Is that Ketchikan?
Yep.
It's labeled Ketchikan.
Oh, they're labeled. I didn't realize they were labeled.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I read them.
So this is what you're talking about. Like the whole trip pretty much kind of looks scenic. Like you've got mountains and just beautiful views.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
We were lucky that we didn't really deal with fog to obstruct the views. So I've heard that it can get foggy and visibility cannot be the greatest, so you can't always see the scenery.
When you got to this point, or throughout your Alaska trip, the water kind of got calmer? You said it was rough going up and stuff, but was it pretty calm while you were in Alaska?
Yeah. In Alaska is calm. It's just in coming back down from Alaska is calm, but the way up there was
okay. Right.
Pretty rough.
Was the water clear? Like, could you tell if it was clear? Like, was it?
It was more of a turquoisey.
Yeah, and you couldn't see that. Like when you port in the Caribbean, you can see the sea bottom a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But in here, you never could.
Okay. So after Ketchikan, what was your next favorite?
Well,
you said least favorite to start.
No, next you're going up though.
Yeah.
Got it.
What's rank number 3?
Gateway.
Skagway?
We did not do the train, but that seems like the most popular thing to do. So we actually hiked a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
How many miles was it?
At least 7 to 10 miles.
That's good. That's pretty awesome. And was it like flat hike or was it like a lot of elevation?
One hike we did was a lot of elevation. The other one was a little bit. It's relatively flat for me.
Okay. That's right. Like hiking 7 miles with elevation that's a lot. What kind of stuff did you see? Was it any wildlife or?
Good views of the ship, honestly.
Yeah, they had a nice kind of lake at the top. So if you've ever been to like mountainous areas, they have these really pretty lakes where it's
just like ice mounts.
Yeah, it's like kind of off the ice mount. You just get like trees that kind of come up on both sides, and they're always kind of long. So.
Okay.
Were any of the pictures you sent from that?
Yeah, they probably have them, so.
There's the no, I don't. Doesn't look like it. No. Okay.
Yeah. Cheap about it.
It's fine. I was just gonna put it up if it was.
So then, what will be your number 2 port stop?
Icy Strait.
Yeah.
Yeah, Icy Strait Point.
And we also got to see
a picture of that. I just saw it. I think. Didn't I?
I don't know.
ISP. I saved it as.
That.
Nope, that's a whale out of our room window.
It says ISP.
Yes, sorry.
So that's a good story. So we ported in Icy Strait Point, and like the day before, spoiler alert, we were in Juneau and whale watching, and like you see the whales come up, and you see like the disturbance at the top of the surface, and I was looking out the window and I saw that. I was like, there might be a whale outside. And then 2 seconds later, I like see the whale surface. I'm like, no. And she's in the bathroom.
I ran out and grabbed the camera, and that's.
Yep.
So that's
they're talking about it. I'll leave it there.
So yes.
Or anything,
I mean, you got to put everything to the side if there's a whale out of your room window. Like, come on. Who cares? Like, who cares? Nobody else is in there. Just you and just go for it. You got to catch the whale. That's pretty awesome. That's
the only one I see that says that.
So what did you guys? It's called Icy Point.
Icy Straits Point.
Icy Straits Point. That's one I don't think I've ever heard of before. So what is that all about?
It is outside of Hoona, Alaska.
And it's actually recently developed. Like I believe right around 2020 or like the year before, where they put a lot of investment in to have
gondolas and
proper docks, so it's not a tender port at all.
Okay.
So it is a cruise line port stop, not just carnivals.
Okay. And what did you guys do at that port?
So we tried to do a bear wildlife hike, but we didn't see a bear.
Oh.
So that was the landscaping was really cool. And we learned about like the marshes and how they have like mud puddles basically that are super deep though, and that the animals there know where they can and can't step. Like they're aware of these mud pits.
Oh, that's cool. So do people normally see bears in that port?
Yes.
For the most part, yeah.
But it's more of a summer thing, I'm assuming.
Okay. So being there a little early, you missed the bears, but it's super scenic port. And did you see other cruise ships at that port?
No.
No, we're the only one. It has 2 docks.
Oh, okay.
And we were able to meet an elder of the Tlingit tribe, and he spoke to us in his native language
about
the landscaping, and just I was lost for words. I was so taken back by it. I've never felt that way before with just it.
Yeah.
Like it hit me in the feels for some reason.
The story is absolutely fascinating because they were at Glacier Bay.
Yep.
They had to move there to Icy Strait Point
because of the glacier.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the National
really cool.
Service didn't want them to visit or stay there because of it being a national park now. And so they finally came to a treaty where the government and Park Service built them a tribe house at like the front of Glacier Bay, right on the beach, and so they can have their ceremonies and things there. And it just super cool, and I'm so happy to hear of this success story for all of the natives in the area to be allowed back into their homeland. And it's just,
that is cool. Like indigenous people often get kind of screwed over, and it's nice when you hear them be able to get a little success story back. And that's awesome. That sounds pretty good. That's like the kind of cultural experience that I like to have at these places, when you get somebody that's really from there talking about their experiences and stuff like that.
His name is George.
What was it?
George.
His name was George?
Yes. I forget his last name.
Yeah.
So your favorite port then was Juneau?
Yes.
And Juneau, which stop was that for you guys? It was the second stop, third stop?
Yes.
Second stop?
Yep.
So what did you guys do in Juneau?
We did a whale watching tour.
Ah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why that would be your second. Why that would be your favorite. And those of you that don't know Mallory and Andrew, they're like animal people, like Kimbra and myself. They're divers. They're very, very similar likes that we have. So tell us about the whale watching.
So we booked a tour, not through the cruise line. We did it through
Shorts near.
Yep. And it was a much smaller boat.
So way less people.
And probably one of the cooler things is they had an actual marine biologist on the boat as well.
Now, wait a minute. I have to stop you there. Did they seem like they were an actual knowledgeable marine biologist? Because I had an experience like that in St. Thomas, where they were like, yeah, this guy's a marine biologist, and he was leading us on this turtle swim. And so I swam up to him and tried to have a conversation, and I don't think he was really a marine biologist.
No, she definitely was, because she teaches as well. So.
Oh, good. Then that is cool.
He's a diver.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it like a small, like how small was this boat? How many people were on the boat?
A max of 14.
Oh.
And I feel like there wasn't even 14 of us.
No, it was
okay.
Maybe 12.
Do you know how many people are on the normal like Carnival or cruise line excursion whale watching boats?
No, but they have double. It's like the size of the boat too. You know, I mean, double decker.
Yep.
Double catamaran type.
So it's got to be like 40, 50, 60 at least.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be a very different experience there for sure.
Yep. And have you ever done one of the bigger whale watches?
Yes, in San Diego.
Okay.
And I mean, it wasn't sold out, but it was like a huge boat.
Yeah, because I know from being on dolphin boats quite a bit, as soon as somebody sees one, everybody in the boat rushes over to that spot. And then, it's just like, So that's cool. So 14 max, probably less than that. How long was this excursion? How long were you on the water, I should say?
I think it was 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, I think it's about 4 hours.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Did you go a far distance offshore, or they just like knew where the whales were? Like how did that work?
So it's pretty interesting because of the topography of like the floor bottom. The channels are pretty narrow, but they're also very, very deep. So if you look at you think like you see these mountains like coming along like the ridges, and what happens is they continue into the water. So 50 feet from the shore, you can be in 150, 200 feet of water.
It is crazy, and it's just crazy to see the whales so close to shore. We're used to, freshwater lakes here, where it 2 feet off the shoreline, you're 2 feet deep,
Right. Yeah. That is pretty cool. So did you want to ask something?
No, I'm going to bring up this picture if that's okay.
Yeah. You've got some whale pictures, which I'm assuming this is from that excursion?
Nope. That is from Seaward, but that's,
wrong one.
They're better shots than I got.
How about this one?
Yes.
That's like when I looked at that picture, I was like, that has got to be like the classic whale tail shot. Like just beautiful.
And I like the detail on this photo. You can see the skin.
Do you know what species of whales these were?
Humpbacks.
Okay. That's what I thought, but whales are not my strongest knowledge base, so I wasn't 100% sure. Plus, you can only see like parts of them, but I figured you guys would know what they were. So, did you see any other species besides humpback whales? I know there's one kind of dolphin species you saw, because I saw a picture of that.
And that was from but we didn't see orcas this trip.
You did there? Oh, so that was because you have a picture of orcas that you sent us. That wasn't from the cruise.
Yeah, no, that was
that was some Seward last year.
Okay. That was when you were there by land.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you saw humpback whales. Did you see a lot?
Quite a few. It was 5, 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's cool about humpbacks is they have on their tails, they have very unique skin patterns. So you can actually identify what whale it is. And there's a website that you can like log the whale picture and like say where you were at, and then you can see where the whale's been as well. Oh,
that's very cool. So you can find out who you saw and what they're up to.
Yeah.
Is it like
that is really cool.
Happywhale.com.
Happywhale.com.
Double check that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I didn't know that. I knew that the whale tails were kind of like fingerprints. Like dolphin dorsal fins are like that too. Like in Tampa Bay, there are about 500 dolphins that live here year round. One of the largest populations of non-migratory Atlantic bottlenose dolphins. And there are catalogs of dorsal fins for identification. But to my knowledge, there's no database like that. That's really cool.
That is cool.
Are you on that?
That's like
happywhale.com. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Meg is asking, do you guys have a YouTube channel?
No. I have one scuba video uploaded, and that's it. I take pictures and I just keep them to myself. Like post them
every now and then, though. Every now and then I've seen a diving video from you guys, and then if you join the Fintastic Cruising community, they often post pictures of their adventures there, so you can see them in that case. So that's probably the best way.
They're also going to be on the Fintastic Group Cruise.
They are going to be on the Fintastic Group Cruise. That's right, which we are so looking forward to. And for those of you that don't know, we have never cruised with Andrew and Mallory. I'm going to switch it like that every now and then. But we have hung out with them. We went to Crystal River like a year ago. Was that 2 years ago now?
It was last year, right? Last January.
Yes.
And we went to swim with the manatees, which was amazing. And then we went scuba diving with them in Rainbow River. So we have hung out with them extensively, but we have not cruised with them, which would be even better. Well, I don't know if it'll be just as cool, maybe better. I don't know. The manatee thing was pretty.
We'll get to dive in the Caribbean with them instead of just in a
That is
spring.
true. That is very true. And enjoy the rest of the time with them as well. So, okay. So let's talk about Well, anything else you want to mention about the cruise that we didn't cover specifically? Like any highlights or anything?
I liked our room so much because of how it was weird shaped, and we had 2 windows, so our bed faced outward, so we could just lay in bed and look out the double windows and see. It was just perfect for Alaska.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty awesome.
The scenery is just relaxing to be there. It's not, I don't know, I feel like sometimes in the Caribbean, it's like you get off, it's like we're diving, it's not as relaxing unless you're on a sea day, but like in Alaska, it's like, it was a lot more relaxing.
Yeah.
Well, and that's probably especially true for people like you or people like us, because we're kind of that way too. And we're in the Caribbean, we're like every port, we're like go go go, we want to do stuff, and then the sea days you relax. But yeah, that's kind of a good point about Alaska, is the whole thing is going to be a little more chill, probably.
The whole
got that.
That was unintentional, but okay. So just beautiful scenery. I asked you this before we were live and stuff the other day, but Caribbean versus Alaska, do you have a preference? Are they too different? What's your verdict on that?
Apples and oranges.
Yeah. Dance.
Just 2 different experiences.
Yeah.
Love them both.
Yeah. So speaking of different experiences, let's talk about how this differed from your land vacation to Alaska. When you went to Alaska by land, how long were you there for?
It was about 10 days.
Okay.
Yep.
So maybe a couple more days than the cruise. And you guys said you rented like an RV or something?
Yes.
So we flew into Anchorage, and in Anchorage there's probably at least
several
3 places,
RV renting
big
companies.
places.
Yeah.
So we rented an RV, and the first thing we did was we drove up to Denali National Park.
First we went to Costco.
Yeah.
And we got all the food.
Costco, that's the one thing that they had to do when they came.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Mallory was like, is there a Costco nearby? We're going to Costco.
So we stocked up and had...
We saved a lot of money, too.
Yeah, we did.
It was expensive there.
Well, let me ask you this. Price-wise, was one a lot more expensive than the other, or were they fairly comparable?
The RV was a lot more expensive.
It was more expensive by land. So that's pretty standard with cruises. I wasn't sure with the Alaska cruise and renting the RV. So what are the... Do you have a preference? Like if somebody wanted a recommendation on how to do Alaska, would you say by cruise ship or by land, or do you think that they're both kind of equally valid ways to do it and you can't really choose? What would you say?
I would say they're both equally special. Depends on what you would like to do. I would say cruising is definitely the most stress-free, enjoyable, relaxing way. If you have someone like a cool husband that's fine driving this RV, I got to enjoy all the views. So I had a good.
So Andrew drove all the time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be the case if we.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I know. So we need to go with them.
And Andrew can drive the whole time.
And Andrew can drive the whole time.
Unfair, I think that just doesn't seem fair. But okay.
So you and Andrew can trade.
Is it pretty easy driving in Alaska, or is it treacherous? Like, what's that like?
It's not difficult. The RV we had was like 20, 21, 22 feet long and a little bit wider than a normal trucker van. So It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't easy either.
But like besides the vehicle, like the roads, were they similar to what you'd see in the States, or was it like snow covered, or probably not?
No snow at all. 90% of the time, exactly the same. There was a few places where it's gravel, and there's a few places where there was a frost heave, where the roads kind of get very
bumpy.
Not bumpy,
or
but
just broken.
Yeah, so it's the RV will do a
rigid.
Little, yeah, you have to slow down, or otherwise you're gonna get here in the RV.
Okay. So what are the advantages? Like, why would you go by land? Like, what are the perks to going by land?
You can be more flexible with your itinerary. Weather things that may come up. You can switch things around, stay somewhere longer.
Yeah,
reschedule something. Yep,
just staying somewhere longer would be really nice for some of the ports for sure. I think the other advantage is like you can go to Denali, which was
amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely a highlight.
And what I know of Denali, sadly, is I know it's a park, and I know that Old Spice makes a deodorant that's called Denali. So that's sad. Tell me about Denali, because from somebody that's completely ignorant of it, because I don't know what is there.
Well, Mount Denali, aka Mount McKinley, is there. That's the
tallest peak in North America. And one thing that's interesting, besides the height, is you can only see it 1 out of 3 days, I think.
Oh.
So, yeah. You have to stay long enough to guarantee that you'd actually see it.
Otherwise,
is that because of like fog or?
Yes.
Okay.
So Denali only has one road, and at our time of visiting, you could only drive to.
Really?
Yep, our campground was Techlanica campground, and that had a minimum of 3 nights, and you were able to book the camper transit bus, and they would pick you up in the morning, and you could hop off literally anywhere on the Denali Road and hike. That's and then cool. You could do whatever you wanted, and when you wanted to head back in, you would just walk to the road and wait for a bus.
And in Denali, there's very few actual hiking trails because the terrain's mostly tundra, so it's super, super soft. So if too many people walk over it, it damages it.
Okay.
So they encourage off a trail hiking. So you just walk wherever you want.
In the wilderness.
Yep.
it's just
the buses that take you there and back also have the driver will spot wildlife for you.
Oh.
Yeah, you get tons of photo ops and narration, and they do have another bus that's like the tour bus, and it used to be an 8-hour ride all the way in the park and all the way back, stopping several places. But this past spring, there's a spot on the road that slumps down, and they've been adding gravel to keep the road, but it's collapsed, and so now they're limited on no one can even go past. So I think I forgot to mention that cars are allowed up to the Techlanica campground.
No. It's 15 miles before that, I think.
No.
Unless you're camping.
They had the parking lot.
The parking lot is further back.
No, I want to pull.
Because we had to check. The checkpoint was where most cars had to turn around. The first night we had to sign our names in the guidebook.
So it was really just tour buses in that big round parking lot with all the toilets and the boardwalk and.
I don't know.
But they limit you of how far you can go, and so the only way to see further inside the park is by riding a transit bus, a tour bus, or walking the whole thing.
Or biking.
Wow.
Oh yeah, bicycling.
Yep.
And some of the buses do have the ability to carry the bikes in front of the bus too.
Okay.
So, but there's you have to register your bike and
Now you sent a picture of a moose. Was that from the cruise, or was that from your land excursion or your land trip?
Land.
Yep.
Land. So you saw more wildlife on the land one? Would you say
Yes.
that?
Yeah. Yep. And that is actually a caribou.
Caribou. Okay.
I should click on the one that says moose.
There we go. I was going to say, I thought I saw and I should say mooses, or is it meese? I don't know. But there's some baby moose there. And that must be mom, because the males have the.
Yes.
antler things there.
So I do want to mention, since we're talking about cruising and going by land, there are some cruise lines that will offer Alaska by land and sea. So
that's what my mom did. She was commenting about that. They did 7.
But I'm saying that because that is something that you can book with fantastictravel@gmail.com.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but that's definitely a cool way to do it as well. Like Princess does that, and Holland America does that. I'm not 100% if any other cruise lines do that, but I know that those two definitely do.
I think they do, but the thing that Carnival Corporation offers that other cruise lines don't is that they have lodges and trains that are run by employees of the company.
Right.
That's what we learned on the Holland America.
Yeah. So cruise. it's not like rented out to someone else. It's like it's all inclusive with Carnival Corporation.
Yeah. So it's like a private island experience in a sense.
Yeah.
In that regard, which is really cool, and it just gives you another peace of mind, I think. And you're going to get top-notch service because it's Carnival Corporation.
Right.
So very cool, very cool. All right, so did we miss anything about your cruise besides the cruise creature? Because we're going to cover that.
We ran into our favorite server lead that we had in December for Christmas, and we saw her on our first sea date, and it was just, we couldn't believe it. It was such a pleasant surprise, and she remembered us, and then we got to have her at dinner every night, so for your time dining.
Yeah, so one thing about your time dining is if you ask to have the same server every night, they will try to seat you if possible. So.
And that's good to know, because that's one of the reasons why I often shy away from your time dinings, because I want that experience with the same staff, so you can get that.
Yep, yeah.
With your time dining. That's a good
one. Yep, and request them going forward.
Okay, very cool. All right, so so we asked you what you would like as a cruise creature, and
Can I play the music?
Yes, go ahead. It occurs to me that little cruise creature clip, that manatee shot, if you're watching on YouTube, is from our trip with Mallory and Andrew.
It is.
Yeah, that is one of the manatees that we saw that snuggled us and stuff. So that's cool. But no manatees in Alaska, because they would die real quick because it's just too cold up there. But you did see another marine mammal that you were very impressed by, and that is the
Stellar sea lion.
It's stellar. Stellar, Steller.
Oh, I'm wrong then. I spelled it wrong.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Stellar was the last name of the scientist or explorer who described the stellar, also the stellar sea cow. So this guy must have been like into big marine mammals. But it was in I want to say 1750s or somewhere in there. It was in the 18th century that the stellar sea lion was first described by European people, at least. And so this is really cool because there are, I think, about 6 different sea lion species that are considered sea lions, which, by the way, sea lions, seals, walruses, they're all in a group of animals called pinnipeds. And sea lions are differentiated from seals, typically, although there are some seals that kind of fit the sea lion characteristics, but that they have little ear flaps, and they also have some different ways that they can move their torso or their tail, and their flippers, I think, are different too.
Right, like seals flop and sea lions walk.
Yeah, and seals tend to have sharper, longer claws.
Yeah,
and sea lions have more fleshy flippers. So that's what I learned today while I was researching sea lions.
So when I worked at the Indianapolis Zoo, we had seals. No, we didn't. We had sea lions. And they sometimes brought them out. And I just happened to be walking by one time, just randomly in the middle of the pathway, which was really cool. And they had this sea lion do like walk like a sea lion or whatever, and then it said imitate a seal, and it just like flopped down and like flopped around.
Wow, it was like bashing on the
yeah,
seals.
it was real funny.
That's hilarious.
But that's how I like remember the difference, is because I was like, sea lions like walk and seals like flop.
Right. So now most people that are familiar with sea lions, they're usually going to be familiar with one species if you're in North America or the United States, and that is the California sea lion, which, as its name would imply, are mostly found off the coast of California, although their range does extend up into Canada and maybe a little bit to Alaska, but their main range is going to be predominantly California and that area. But you didn't see California sea lions. You're talking about stellar sea lions. And go ahead and bring up some of those pictures. They have some on rocks and stuff. There's some, I guess, there we go. That's what I was looking at. Now, from this picture, it may not be super obvious, but these sea lions are bigger than your average sea lion. These are large animals. And I actually have the data on that. Let me bring that up.
Bring up these other pictures, or stick with this one for a minute? Since you're talking about size.
Yeah, go ahead and bring those up, because there's some really nice shots of Mallory and then also of Andrew standing in front of. Where was this, by the way? It looks like you were at an aquarium or something. That was that place you went to?
Sea Life Center in Seward.
Okay. And did they have a lot of species of animals there, or was it mostly the stellars? Or
I believe they had harbor seals. Probably.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of seabirds.
Okay.
That as well.
Okay. So something interesting when I was doing my research today on stellar sea lions is that I found a little bit of conflicting information from two sources that I would consider both fairly reliable. And that is, one of them is NOAA, and the other one was from a Alaska government site. And the information was about the size and weight. So I went with the NOAA one because it's a little bit bigger, but I'm going to tell you what I read, and then I don't know if they gave you any information if it's the same, but basically it says that the males can weigh up to 2,500 pounds and females 800 pounds. The males can reach 11 feet in length and the females about 9.5 feet. The Alaska site had those numbers down a little bit from that. Did you hear any numbers about weight and length?
I don't remember anything besides the aquarium.
It was, yeah. I mean, I know it was at least 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's big, right? We're talking big. The only thing bigger than stellar sea lions in the pinniped group are walruses and elephant seals.
Oh yeah,
which are monstrous. Yeah. But that's impressive. Apparently, they live about 25 to 30 years, and the stellar sea lion range is basically like mostly the coast of Alaska, where like around the Pacific coast of Alaska, and then it kind of stretches over all the way down to, I think, northern Japan. My notes say North Pacific Ocean, Japan to California. They will go down to northern California. I think they used to go further south, but now I want to say that their furthest south they go is kind of around the San Francisco area or something, somewhere in that range. There's some little islands, the Channel Islands, I think, is what I saw listed. They're going to eat fish and cephalopods, which are cephalopods being probably primarily squid, maybe some octopuses or something of that nature. And they are eaten by orcas, by killer whales, and possibly swell sharks and great whites on occasion, especially the juveniles. They're a colonial breeder, so they breed in large groups. And one of the words that I learned today was haul out. So that's a word attributed to these pinniped animals that come out of the water, and they have their spots where they come out of the water, and that apparently has a term, which is a haul out. When they're in the water, or when they're in groups, there's a name for a group of sea lions.
You know what that is?
I do, because I thought I did, and I looked it up to make sure. So one of them is herd, but there's another one that's much more interesting. Do you know what it is?
What does it start with?
An R.
It's a rush.
No.
It
Raft.
is
Yes. A raft of sea lions.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Yeah, like a murder of crows and a fever of stingrays.
A rush would also be a good word.
A rush would be a good word. Yes, that would be a fine word. But they have about one pup a year, and they also sometimes go by the name northern sea lion. No, that's the majority of information that I found about the Steller sea lion. Also, that their population has really started to decline since like the 1970s, and there's still a lot of mystery as to why. There's a lot of suspected reasons, and probably it's not one thing. Did they talk about Steller sea lion conservation when any of the places where you were?
No. More about like whales.
Whale conservation?
Yeah.
Apparently they're listed as threatened in some areas and endangered in others, and their population is doing worse in some areas than others, but they don't really know what the exact reason is or exact reasons are, which is probably the case. But yeah, hopefully they'll figure it out and we can get them rebounding back, because what an impressive animal to see. Steller sea lion.
It'd be stellar.
It would be stellar. The Steller sea cow is extinct. Those were found, and I want to say they were driven to extinction by hunting within like 50 years or something like that. Steller sea cows were like these huge ocean-going manatee species, and yeah, I was definitely within like 100 years or so, but it might have even been less. They were hunted, but that was a long time ago. So hopefully we've learned something from that time. Is there anything you want to say about the Steller sea cow that I didn't cover?
No, but now that I'm thinking, I feel like I sent a photo of them on rocks.
Oh, we can look for that.
And I think there's one that actually does have a serial number on him.
Oh, okay. I saw some pictures like that when I was just like Googling stuff. Those are eagles.
Yeah. Well.
Also cool to see so many bald eagles in Alaska. Those are the ones on like the buoy marker. She's looking.
That's not that one. We did that one.
Maybe I didn't.
I don't see that one.
Okay.
But they're like the ones that I saw pictured. They were like huge serial numbers.
Yes.
On them, like big, like I don't know, 10.
I mean, we saw them from the boat tour. It was.
You could see them pretty well.
Yes.
Did you see a lot of the sea lions?
I would say more in Seward than Juneau.
Yep.
Okay.
We also saw seals at both places too.
Yes.
And you say they were harbor seals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen wild pinnipeds because we don't have any in the Caribbean anymore.
Right.
There was a Caribbean monk seal that was.
Wow.
That one was driven to extinction in probably in the 1800s, but I think technically they weren't declared extinct until the early 20th century, and very similar to the Hawaiian monk seal,
which is endangered, right?
What's that?
The Hawaiian monk seals are endangered, correct?
They are endangered, and there's even been talk, and I don't think they're going to go through with this, but I've even heard people talk about, well, they're so similar, should we bring some Hawaiian monk seals into the Caribbean and reintroduce them to try and bring that population up? But that often does not end well. So I don't think that's in, because I think they are endangered. Probably not. Gotta get them secure in Hawaii first.
Right.
I think. Cool. All right. Any final thoughts on your cruise experience to Alaska?
I will say one thing we did not mention was the arm.
Tracy Arm Fjord.
Yeah, and that was something else because you have this cruise ship that's going up this relatively narrow channel for the cruise ship, and it goes, yep, there you go.
I'm gonna say that's the picture we use. That's what I was thinking of before. That's the picture we used for the thumbnail too.
And straight ahead was the glacier that the excursion boat got to go close up to. That's something that the cruise ship offered for this fjord. So the only way you got to get off the ship and go closer was through that excursion. Otherwise, you were just on the ship, but still going through.
And I wonder if that's one of the things that Holland America talked about as a Carnival Corporation thing, where it may have been Glacier Bay they were talking about.
They talked about Glacier Bay,
where they're very restricted on how many vessels can go in there.
Yeah.
And Carnival Corporation, because they've been cruising up there longer than anybody else, they got grandfathered in, and so they're able to go places that other cruise ships can't go. I don't know if this is the situation there, but because you're right, they were talking about Glacier Bay with that. So if you're going to go to Alaska, I think you should cruise on a Carnival Corporation cruise ship.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely the way to go. Not that you can't have a great experience on other cruise lines. I think you can, but I think you're going to get more perks if you go through Princess, Holland America, or Carnival. That's what I'm starting to think is the case.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of sold me on that on our Holland cruise, but after hearing like another perspective.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. The only thing I wish you guys had done that you didn't do is the snorkeling in Hawaii, in Alaska.
I mean, do you blame us though?
It's cold.
No, shut up. I mean,
7 mil wetsuit.
We figured it would be similar to all of the touch pools and
tide pools
and the tidal pools that we've seen in the Pacific Northwest firsthand.
And honestly, it probably would be from the footage I've seen and stuff that it looks like
just cool anemones and like sea stars and
I've never seen a sea star in the wild.
Yeah, you will. That's still
when Mel, you'll see them. I bet you when you're on the dive boat going to the site, keep an eye on the floor because that's where we've seen some randomly.
Yeah.
In Cozumel, they're obviously a different kind.
Yeah. One day
you'll see them.
I saw my brittle star. That was cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of a sea star.
Kind of.
Sort of.
Can we say starfish?
We can say starfish. We're not, I'm not at work. I can say starfish. Cool. So if you want to do the snorkeling thing, you got to wear like a 7 mil. And
they provide all of the, they provide all the gear. I just think it's not. It wasn't. Either. Yeah, it wasn't worth the cost.
No, because they use like we watched like a video on it, and they use like it's all Scuba Pro. It's all like top-notch stuff, but I mean they're charging, a lot. Yeah, but it would be interesting to do. But maybe,
At that point, I'd rather just dive.
That would be cool. I don't know if they offer dives up there easily or not. That would be an interesting experience. You guys have dove, I know, in Wisconsin, but have you ever dove in like cold water? Have you done cold water dives?
Not that cold. Just I've done more lakes up here than Mal has.
We were supposed to dive in Monterey, California. We had the dive booked, but they canceled it due to weather.
Ah, okay.
So I was kind of nervous just because.
Very different.
Yes, and this was back in 2018.
Yeah.
This was before my mother died, so. But.
What were the lake temperatures like when you did the dives in Wisconsin? Were they like super cold or were they kind of?
Yeah, 60s, maybe upper 50s.
Okay. Yeah. I've dove 50 degrees and that was uncomfortable. Like it was fine, but if you're out there listening or watching, have you ever seen the Christmas Story movie and the kid falls over and he can't get back up? That's like what you feel like in the wetsuit. And then when the wetsuits work you have to get the layer of water if it's a wetsuit. The layer of water has to go into the wetsuit and then be warmed by your body. But you still have 50-degree water like pouring down the back of your neck.
Yeah.
All through. Dude, it's quite refreshing at first, and then you warm up.
Stacy's asking what the dog's name is.
So we have
multiple.
They do.
We have 3 dogs. One is Finley, one is a Sully, and then we have a little dog named Solar. We call him Ding.
And they haven't made an appearance. Let's do this. Let's wrap up.
Okay.
And then we'll come back after the credits, and we'll see if we can. Do you think we can get any dogs on camera? I shouldn't make promises I can't.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, all right. Let's do that then. Let's take us out, and then we'll come back with the dogs.
All right. Well, on that note, it's time to head for the horizon. And until next time, seize the day.
Have a fantastic week, everybody. My video like freaked out again. All right, we're back, and we have dogs.
Come here, for me. You want to give a hug?
We have a lot of dog fans in the audience, so if you are listening right now, then it's not as exciting. But are they being too shy?
We're at the bar, so we're kind of high right now.
Okay, gotcha.
And they're not really small dogs,
No.
so it's not something you can lift.
Pause up.
There you go.
Come on.
Oh, look at that.
Andrew. They're not going to come up here.
There.
Really? They're thank you. Give me news. Yeah, this is not working.
That's all right. That's all right. We got a peek. We got the dog view. Reno's sleeping.
He's out.
He's sound asleep. That dog is done. He's just like done.
He's funny because he goes to bed. We'll be watching something and we'll be like, "Where's Reno?" And he's already gone to bed.
Yeah. Yep. So you guys have 3 dogs. You recently got 2 kitties.
Yep.
And then you don't have them inside, but you have a bunch of ducks.
Yep. 17.
17 ducks.
Yep.
You didn't start with 17, right? Like some of those were born. Oh, there's a
Here's our old dude.
Aw.
He's like 17. He's
Wow.
yeah. He only has a few marbles left, right? But he's happy. So
And which one is that? What's that one's name?
Solo.
Or Ding.
You're like what?
So did you guys got what? You guys got a couple ducks and then they became mini ducks, or how did the duck thing happen?
No, we got 6 ducks, and then we got 6 more ducks, and then some of the people we got the ducks from couldn't have ducks anymore, so we got another 5 ducks.
Oh, so they weren't ducks that were born. I thought you got ducks and they bred and you had baby ducks.
No.
No.
And they all have names, right?
Yes.
And you can tell them all apart.
Yes.
Yeah. I see. You post the pictures and I'm like, they all look the same to me.
No, Muscovies totally look different though. Like they come in a variety of colors. So
okay, I believe you.
They're not like a bunch of clones, like the Pekin ducks are.
Do they like know you? Like, do they come up to you and are they friendly?
They're very food motivated. So they like eating dried mealworms, and sometimes I order like 1,000 superworms for them online, and they go crazy for those superworms.
Stacy's asking, do they have their ducks in a row? Which
6.
And also Sean is mentioning he's bailing out because none of the cruisers are going live, and there's
I I wish we rotate the camera.
So bad.
Those are the other dogs.
That's usually where we see you guys, is on that couch. So you're
Yeah.
usually covered in dogs.
There. Another count.
That was awesome. So you're getting on the Conquest tomorrow, Mallory. Andrew, you're not?
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting on Monday, but we're
Monday.
flying.
That makes sense because
tomorrow.
you're not there yet.
Yep. And then we're diving in Key Largo Sunday.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Monday. Yeah.
So you're cruising out of Miami?
Correct.
Okay. That's cool. That'll be fun.
Yep. So
And then
Monday through Friday.
so what are you doing, Andrew?
I am staying at home and watching the animals.
And we're
Wow.
Working.
Oh, there's the duck.
oh, there's
Hello.
those my 6. Those were when they were little and got their feathers.
Because I just remember, I think this is maybe one that you posted, and it was like, see if you could name them, and you like had all the names. I'm like,
Oh,
I can't name
yeah.
them.
Yeah. There was like a baby picture and then that picture because they look so different as they grow and their feathers come in. Like,
Somebody's actually Dan's asking. I think he's asking, do you guys find a lot to do in Juneau when you went? Did you go into town in Juneau and do stuff, or that's where you did the whale watching, right?
Yep. So the whale watch, it just picked you up at a bus, and then they drove us there and back.
we got to see the Mendenhall Glacier.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
And there's a tram that can take you up to the top of the mountain that has great ship views as well. But it was super foggy when we were there, so we didn't.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Were you pulling up more duck pictures? You got them all? You got your ducks in a row?
I don't have any ducks.
All right. Well, it is 9:48, so we should probably wrap up so we can go and watch Down Under Cruisers. But we want to thank you guys so much for coming on again and telling us all about Alaska. I learned a lot in this episode, which is always exciting for me. I love to learn stuff, and hopefully everybody out there learns some as well. We all need to go to Alaska now.
Again,
But regardless, we are really excited for you guys to cruise with us next year, and look forward to that quite a bit.
Do you know how many days until that cruise? Have you looked recently?
I don't. If Sean was still in here, he could probably tell you.
Till our cruise? He can't tell you when
Oh,
our
no,
cruise
no.
is.
he
He's
can
not
tell you
going
the
on that.
October. We have so many cruises booked. It's exciting.
We only have 3 booked.
But that's 3 more than...
281 days.
It's a lot. It's a lot of days. That's the Down Under
But you know
Cruisers.
what? You know what? We only have 5 days until our next cruise.
We do, yes. So that's exciting.
That's cool.
But yeah, that's going to be the Helping Hands for Cruising, Down Under Cruisers, Spikers, Crazy.
Well, no, we didn't talk about that one. I didn't give
No,
you.
I know, but I'm talking about the October.
Oh,
the
I was gonna say, I
October
didn't give
one.
you a count for that one. That one's 133 days.
133. That's getting closer. So.
Well, I mean, I'd hope it wasn't getting further away because that would be a problem.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It felt like they were all getting further away.
Yeah.
Yes, Meg's got it. Only 281 days because she will
Yeah.
be on the. She'll be on both. Meg, are you on both of those or just? I know
No, she's
ours.
doing the meetup for the
Right,
October cruise, but
right.
she's not going on it.
Cool. All
thanks
right.
for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for
guys.
joining.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll get you back on next time. When is your next cruise besides this one?
Group cruise.
Ours.
That's the next cruise. Okay, so you'll probably, I know you guys though. You'll probably cruise before then.
Maybe
We'll
in
see.
September or October. No,
You got a lot going on, I know, with the business and stuff too. So, but if not, then you need to make like a trip down here, like a little dive trip or something.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you everybody out there for listening, tuning in, or watching, however you are able to see us, hear us. And thank you again to Mallory and Andrew. And I guess we can go ahead and wrap up the wrap up.
All right.
Have a good weekend.
Cheers.
Thank you guys.